All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some more shit, because that's always fun to do. Minneapolis police say Umbrella Man was a white supremacist trying to incite George Floyd rioting. So we all remember this guy, right? This guy, he showed up, he broke a bunch of windows. I think he actually set the fire inside the AutoZone, and then he walked away and he behaved very suspiciously. Like, other protesters tried to talk to him, and he was like very confrontational with them. Like, there was no sense of camaraderie with the other protesters, so it really didn't seem like he was a legitimate protester. A lot of people speculated he was a cop.
A lot of people said, he's just an agent provocateur. He's not really someone that is actually involved with the protest. He doesn't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement.
I guess the cops are now saying he was a agent provocateur, but not one of theirs. They're saying he was actually a white supremacist who was trying to start a race war kind of thing. A masked man who was seen in a viral video smashing the windows of a South Minneapolis auto parts store during the George Floyd protests, earning him the moniker Umbrella Man, is suspected of ties with a white supremacist group and sought to incite racial tensions, police said. A Minneapolis police arson investigator said the act of vandalism at the AutoZone on East Lake Street helped spark a chain reaction that led to days of looting and rioting. The store was among dozens of buildings across the city that burned to the ground in the 5 days that followed. Blah, 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 blah. Police identified Umbrella Man thanks to a tip that came via email last week. The Star Tribune could not independently verify the police account, which so far has only surfaced in the search warrant, and isn't naming the man because so far he's not been charged with a crime. The man, who has a criminal history that includes convictions of domestic violence and assault, did not respond to messages seeking comment. Spokespersons for the Minneapolis Police Department and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, which was also involved in the investigation, declined to comment. So we don't really know much about this yet, but it is kind of interesting. This is kind of something to keep your eye on. Everyone knew that this guy fucking smelled fishy. Most of us thought he was a cop, myself included, and still haven't totally written off that possibility. But it's now being said that he was a white supremacist, probably trying to start some kind of fucking race war bullshit.
Well, I believe at the time what I said, and I could be proven wrong about this, but my thinking at the time was he was not necessarily a cop, but someone that could be affiliated with the police in the capacity of like, hey, he has a contact with someone in the police department. They say, hey, go do this, and then this problem gets fixed for you.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Or, hey, you're just someone that's a CI for me. Why don't you just go ahead and do this? But it's off the record anyways, or no one knows the affiliation. So it's easy for him to go and the police to go, oh, he's a white supremacist.
Yeah, let's take a look at some cop shit. We got some cop shit going on here.
Welcome to your dystopian nightmare.
This is Portland police caught shouting, "Leave no evidence behind," as they pick ammunition rounds up from the ground. Earlier in the protest, police were seen picking up tear gas canisters to hide how much they've been gassing protesters. So here's the police literally engaging in a cover-up right before your very fucking eyes.
Let's take a look.
Leave no evidence behind.
Search for evidence.
That's okay, though, because, it's actually part of the police's job to cover up crime. Oh, no, it's actually to solve crimes. I'm sorry. I was confused.
PJ, look, I have a perfectly logical explanation for this. As a bootlicker. Now, we've seen, look, one taken out of context. The police, I know many people probably in this audience find this strange that I'll take this position, but it's the truth.
Yeah, what's up?
The police in Minneapolis care deeply, and I mean deeply, about the environment.
Very deeply.
I know they tear gas those people. The cops are like, hey, you know what? That's litter. Can we break our own rules and litter?
They're just saying no litter.
That evidence, the trash, and dispose of it properly.
All right, so here's another one. A scene straight out of a dystopian movie from the Portland protesters. Federal officers advance as they shoot at gas protesters. This looked like something from They Live to me. I'm going to just full screen.
I know, right?
I'm going to full screen this one.
Yeah, full screen this one, and we'll just...
If it'll let me. It doesn't seem to want to let me full screen it. There we go. Come on. Come on.
Behind you, come on, shit. Watch out, watch out! Right there. Hey, that's
Freedom!
Freedom! Freedom!
We're here to facilitate your freedom.
Cause I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died to give that right to me. And I proudly stand up next to you and defend her still today. Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Man, fuck this country up the ass with a fucking cactus until it's dead. This is such bullshit, man. Just a fucking line of fucking fascist thugs just marching down the street, fucking smashing everything that gets in their fucking way.
Look, TJ, I know it may look bad.
We'll teach you to fucking protest against this great country, you son of a bitch.
But these here protests, TJ, look, TJ, it's one thing. And look, it's one thing, TJ. You go on a protest, you want to make a jackass out of yourself in the streets, TJ. You have every right to do it. But the minute, TJ, you start rioting, you start looting, you start burning buildings, you start hurting people, TJ, the minute that happens, what the police supposed to do, TJ? Sit back and go, oh, sorry, we can't do it. We the police. Oh, put my hands behind my back. Oh, I can't do nothing. No, TJ, police protecting this here community.
I'm surprised the guy
in Portland, TJ, they want these thugs out.
Someone in the chat said, I'm surprised the guy holding the camera is still alive. I'm not. Because these dudes in their minds, they're just like, they're thinking like, we look so badass right now. So any video evidence of how badass they are, they're like, yeah, film me being a badass walking down the street with my fucking thug buddies.
These guys are such fucking thugs, dude. There's a thing in Seattle. There's a protest. They literally have legal observers, like a national lawyers guild. And the police actually specifically target these people. Like, they target journalists. They target all kinds of fucking people who are just recording this event, not involved. They're just like, okay, I'm just documenting. I'm a legal observer. Like, fuck you. And there's so many videos we've seen of people getting their fucking faces disfigured, being shot in the face.
Here you go.
With less than lethal rounds.
Let's watch a cop cop grabs kid from the throat and pins him down for resisting arrest. All right, let's take a look at this fucking let's take a look at this cops as they detain this fucking hardened criminal.
Good.
This is basically like the Professor Moriarty of our times right here. Look at that fucking little terrorist. You're going down, fucking piece of shit, kid. Take this fucking small child.
Get him.
Destroy him. Fear not, America. The threat has been detained. We have neutralized this threat to freedom and democracy.
His buddy grabbed his bike.
Get off my stomach, yo!
Thank God they stopped that kid, dude.
His arrest is bullshit, but I'm glad his buddy got his bike. Otherwise, that would have been seized by the fucking fascist fucking assholes in front of us. Like, this bike is evidence! Oh, by the way, hey, son, I got you a new bicycle.
Thank God they stopped this kid, dude. I mean...
TJ, you're gonna have an egg on your face, dude. This guy was actually charged with several terroristic acts. I think he was actually threatening.
I know. That's what I was saying. I'm saying, like, I'm glad they finally fucking put a stop to his reign of terror, man.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. Like, I misinterpreted it.
The new Osama bin Laden. If this was Hong Kong, conservatives would be cheering the protesters on. Yeah, well, it ain't. So they ain't.
Oh, I remember that. Hong Kong is great. Yeah, what you're doing in Hong Kong is important. Chinese government, bunch of fascists. Here at home. Well, I see no problem. They're burning.
Look, if they would have just obeyed the police, they would have just obeyed the state and done whatever they were told, they'd be fine.
And it's not even true, because numerous people have obeyed officers of the law in the state and still been killed.
Or beaten the shit out of.
Dude, I've seen, there was a video years and years ago of a military veteran. Like, and this isn't even unique in saying this. popped out of a car. Cops killed him. And it's just like, oh, well, he didn't listen. He laid on the ground and was shot. There was the guy's caregiver for the autistic dude. They lit at his hands in the air and he was still shot. There have been numerous times where the police have stopped people and still shot them. There's been people who've been asleep in their homes and they've been shot. There have been little kids who've been killed by the police going to the wrong homes and they've been shot. Why didn't they just obey?
So
well, you know what? They didn't have a fucking chance because a fucking thug came and blew their fucking brains out.
What about that kid, Tamir Rice, who was just like, the cops didn't even try to ascertain what was going on. They literally just rolled up, jumped out, and shot. There was like not even like a moment of like, let's see what's going on here. Like not even a moment of like, put down the weapon. It was just like, roll up, come out, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Oh, he had a little airsoft gun or plastic toy gun. But yeah, trust these people. Trust these people in your community. Why would you trust them? You'd be insane to trust those people.
So listen.
You'd be out of your fucking mind. No, I mean, don't you think they'd be out of your mind? Imagine there was someone around here that wasn't a cop that was known to roll up on people and kill them. And fucking kill them. Would you trust that person? Would you trust that force? If it was a goon squad that came around killing people, no one would say, trust them.
There's a guy in our chat, Blobber55. He said, this shit happened in my town. So this video we just watched of the kid getting pinned on the ground happened in this dude's hometown. He said, I've driven past that store 1,000 times. When I showed this to my friend, he dead ass asked me, context? Oh, here, he actually did it as a super chat too, which okay. So I just read it. And thanks for the money, dude. So yeah. Context. Yeah, your friend's a moron.
Like this comment. Stop resisting my bullets. Yeah, exactly.
There's no context. Like, can you imagine if they did that for anybody else? Like, can you imagine if I walked down the street and I just saw some little kid and I just fucking punched him in the face or something. And then it's like the video came out and people are like, oh my God, you fucking, what have you done? And I'm like, and it's like some defender of mine's like, well, what about the context of the clip, you know? Like, who else gets that? Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer ate 19 people, but what was the broader context? You know what I mean? Like, no one else gets this, like, broad context shit to excuse whatever the fuck they've done other than cops. A cop can fucking beat you down. He can shoot you in the fucking head. He can slam a little kid's head down on the fucking pavement and put his knee on the kid's neck. He can fucking choke a black man to death on the fucking street corner.
That's happened numerous times.
He can fucking roll up on somebody and just shoot him. He can fucking shoot someone who's holding a fucking Wii remote. He can shoot someone who's holding any fucking thing that it could even vaguely be interpreted as a weapon. And we're constantly asked to look at the context. Think about the context, though, guys. Fuck the context. There is no context where it's cool for you to roll up on some fucking kid on his bike and tackle him to the ground and beat the shit out of him. There's no fucking context where it's okay. There's not a single fucking context. Like, okay, maybe if he's like, this kid has a fucking detonator that will blow up a nuclear bomb that's at the heart of the city, and we got to stop him. He's like an evil genius or something, you know? That's about the only, I mean, like, but unless there's some crazy, out there, fucking insane, beyond the pale shit, no, it's not justified. It's not even close to being justified, and fuck the context.
If it were justified, then we would look at it and go, that makes sense. Oh, okay. That kid was holding a gun, and he was threatening everyone around him, and he was pointing at the other kids, and the cop ran up and slammed him to the ground to stop him from murdering them.
I think I'm going to do that from now on. Whenever anyone tells me about some horrible thing that's been done or some crime that's context equals cops could see into the future, the kid was going to be the next Ted Bundy, allegedly.
Oh, good.
Oh, well, in that case.
You know, wow, well, you know.
No, but from now on,
police have that.
From now on, if anyone comes to me and expects me to be outraged about something, no matter what they say, I'm just going to be like, yeah, but what was the context? So no matter what, it's like, oh my God, you know, did you hear they found fucking, you know, the fucking murdered and raped bodies of 19 women buried in his basement. I'd be like, oh, that's crazy. But what was the context, though? What? What was the context? Like, what did those women do to him is what I want to know. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you. You're so fucking unreasonable. It's so fucking crazy to me that you're going to try to justify this shit. Like these bootlickers, man. Stop licking the boot. It doesn't taste good. You know, you're making yourself look sad. Anyway. The context is the kid committed the worst crime of all. He hurted the cop's feelings. Oh, no.
I think you're right.
Oh, no.
Officer Friendly's feelings got hurt. You know what happened? He's a punk-ass kid. And I guarantee you the context is he talked some shit to the cops, and the cops got mad. And because they have authority, instead of just going, you know what? You're just a little punk kid, and who gives a fuck what you have to say?
Dude,
and just rolling and just driving away. It's like, we're the law. Get on the ground, bitch.
I am the law.
And of course, the cop has the power. And of course, when the cop fucking brings the kids home or fucking arrests him or takes him to juvenile hall, he gets to have all the power. So he gets to fucking feel like he's right. Doesn't matter what that kid said or what that kid did, because now the cop's right. And that kid's got to go up in court and be like, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please, government. Don't be draconian. Good. Now that you've bent the knee to us, we're happy. That's all it's about. If that kid had just been a little yes, sir, and brat, yes, sir, officer. I'm sorry, officer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then that cop would have had no problem, and he would have been like, yeah, you're right.
When okay, hold on. The story continues. When I asked what context made two grown men putting their full weight on a child acceptable, he said, teenage delinquent. These kids were just being assholes, and when the cop rolled up, he stared at his phone.
Yep.
You just haven't prepared that boot right. Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe I'm just not cooking my boots properly. Yeah. I'm convinced that increasingly we're headed towards the Judge Dredd future. You know what I mean? Like where we just have like their judge, jury, and executioner all in one. It's just like, you're under arrest. I sentence you to death. Boom. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? At least we'll empty the prisons. Guys, look, there's no need for these huge prisons anymore. Why is that? We just kill the prisoners.
You know what? The more I think about it, that's not even the future. That's just now. What am I talking about?
I mean, what penalty, unless the police blatantly kill somebody, is there for most of these crimes? Like George Floyd and Derek Chauvin and those other cops associated with that crime. Of course, they got in trouble. There was clear evidence. Bystanders, everyone like, officer, please don't kill that man. There's little guys like that, a guy in that like video, like, I don't think he can breathe.
May I humbly request that you refrain from killing that individual at this time, officer?
I'll tell you the worst thing I ever had, Paul, and it's fucking disgusting.
I knew it! I fucking knew it!
Can't be smoking in my house, dude. You're gonna piss my wife off.
Thought of putting that in my mouth almost made me like throw up coffee all over the mic.